Welcome to another edition of Journey of Hope. Thrilling stories of people that have encountered some type of medical crisis or traumatic injury, cancer. And the people that we interview have been impacted by the healing ministry of Loma University Medical Center. And these people are not only survivors, but they are thrivers. Our special guest today is Jack Holt from North Palm Beach. And he was confronted with the words, "You have cancer." Jack, we want to welcome you to our Journey of Hope program here, and this program's going around the world. And we want to learn a little bit about you and about your journey here to Loma Linda. Where are you originally from?
Born and raised in Chicago. By the way, it's a delight to be here. Born and raised in Chicago. Moved from Chicago out to Santa Ana, California for 4 great years.
Oh, you did come to the West Coast.
Yep, on a business assignment. And then went back to Connecticut, where we lived, and worked in New York for the Dun & Bradstreet Corporation. So I'm originally from Chicago.
But you apparently, where did you go to school then?
Southern Illinois University.
Okay, graduated from there, and then after graduation, what did you do?
I was very fortunate. I seemed to have an opportunity to get into management rather young at Reuben H. Donnelly, which was one of the companies that Dun & Bradstreet owned and the one that I started with. And they gave me a shot to go out to California and run a small microcosm of the company, and we did well.
Did you?
And we went back, and fortunately, I was made president and CEO of Reuben H. Donnelly. So
really? You were out here for four years, did well,
yeah.
And then you went back to the
Right.
parent company then.
Right, because it was a microcosm, had everything that the large company had. And I came at a time that it was a good economy, I had really great people, and I was fortunate. So that's how we came back.
And so you stayed in Chicago for a few years?
Moved east, went back to Connecticut and lived there for 20-some years.
Oh, did you really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well.
Commuted to New York.
You talk about the we. We want to find out about your family. I've got a few pictures here we'll take a look at and kind of go through them, and then we'll come back to your journey, your educational experience and your work experience. Let's just kind of talk to the pictures here.
Wow, that's it?
That's the tribe.
I have a daughter, Kimberly, and a son, Jack, and they have tremendous spouses. Lori is Jack's wife, and Brad is Kim's husband, and they've blessed us with 6 tremendous grandchildren. 3, as you notice there, they all have the same hats. One time they dropped them all off, and we set up Camp Holt, and we took care of them. We've got 1 boy, and the rest are girls, which is a great mix.
Wow, what a combination. And what do we have here?
There we have baptism of one of our children, Ashley, who is Kim's child, one of our grandchildren, and that's Brad and Jack. And Lori is not in that picture because she was taking it, and I'm holding our newest grandchild at that time.
Oh, that is wonderful.
So that look on my face is pride. It's not that I'm just
it's in church.
It's in right, the whole thing.
Right, and I know you're both you and your wife, very active in the Catholic
We
Church.
are.
This is a little more relaxed.
I'll tell you, that is a fun time. That's when my son-in-law, Brad, and Kim, with their children, came down we were in the Bahamas, came down, and we spent a week together and had just a really fun time. It was the first time the children had seen the Bahamas in that light, where they actually touched it and walked and saw the fish. It was terrific.
And experienced the whole
Yeah,
thing.
it was really great.
It looks like the captain to me.
Well, Carol's the captain, but I do a lot. I do a lot of the navigating and driving. But that is aboard our boat first cabin, and there's the real captain.
And how long have you folks been married?
45 years.
45
great years.
Oh, that is wonderful.
And that's Kim and Jack and Carol and I in some water scene. That's a picture. Lori, by the way, who was taking the picture before, is up on the top stair in the middle up there next to me. And that's our grandchildren, and it was a wonderful Easter.
So you have 2 children.
Right.
And you've got 6 grandchildren.
Right, and a nephew is there with a couple of children, so that makes it look a little bigger than it is.
Right.
But
Well, you've got
6 wonderful
just a
grandchildren.
wonderful family.
These are people I walk with, and in Marblehead, Mass, where we spend the summer, the 4 of us walk every morning, and we walk 3 miles around this island. And we started a tradition about 12 years ago where every New Year's Eve we get in our tuxes and the girls in their finery, and one of us hosts a wonderful New Year's Eve with friends, and it's just been fabulous.
Kind of rotate.
We do rotate.
Every year.
We do rotate, and it's just been a tremendous experience.
So these are close friends in the
Yes.
neighborhood, and you're going for a regular walk with them?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
This is the 2 of us at a hotel having a wonderful time. It was a special dinner, and Karen and I enjoy a date as much as any young couple just starting on a date. We have a lot of fun. She's my best friend.
Oh, that is wonderful.
These are people that are friends here in Florida, where we spend the winter, and they took us out to dinner when we got back from treatment at Loma, and we had a wonderful time together. So I thought that picture meant something.
Most
It's
appropriate.
Fawn and Jean Grundy, yeah.
Yeah. And what do we have here?
This is our boat. This is First Cabin, where Carol and I, we don't have a crew, so what you see is what you get. Carol and I run it, and it's a great thing to entertain guests and family mostly. And we take it over from Florida to the Bahamas, and we'll spend a lot of time there, and people will fly in and out. We enjoy it immensely. Boating has been part of our life ever since we started.
And you've had a boat for you've had a boat or boats over the years, haven't you?
Starting out probably the 3rd year of marriage with a little fixer-upper, and kept moving up, and I enjoy working on them. We like to fix them up and trade up. And now I keep telling her every boat we get, this is about as big as we're going to handle, Carol. And this last boat, she said, now, Jack, this is as big as we're going to handle.
For real.
For real. I said, you're right.
Well,
but we enjoy it.
It's a beautiful boat,
Thank
and
you.
I'm sure it provides all kinds of fun activities for you and for your family. Well, let's come back to your experience. You were in Chicago, came back and worked for this company for a period of time. And then what happened? Where did you go then?
In New York, went with the Dun & Bradstreet Corporation, which is the company that was the parent of Reuben H. Donnelly. And when we went back to New York, I worked in the city, in Manhattan, on a commute from New Canaan, Connecticut, where we lived. We did that for several years, and then in 1986, the Dun & Bradstreet purchased the A.C. Nielsen Company, which at the time...
This is the ratings company.
Well, it is. I'll give you a very quick idea of what it is. It is a company at the time that was about half the size of all of Dun & Bradstreet. So it was an acquisition that meant a lot to Dun & Bradstreet. And I was fortunate to be appointed chairman and CEO. And Carol and I went out to Chicago, where Nielsen was headquartered, and returned back there to...
almost back home.
Right. Nielsen is a business that rates television, but that's about 40% of its business. 60% of its business is actually rating in the supermarket, share of market. When you buy a product, Procter & Gamble, and that UPC code passes over the scanner, that information goes to Nielsen. Nielsen then, in every grocery outlet in the United States.
Everyone?
Every product. That goes overnight in by computer. Nielsen prepares share of market reports that Procter & Gamble wants to know how well their pricing did on their coffee versus Maxwell House and all the rest. So it's very important to the retail process. That's the majority of the business.
Now, what kind of a turnaround is there on that? Are we talking about a weekly or a monthly or?
Daily.
Daily?
Daily. Because when they price a product and they run an advertisement that costs X dollars, they want to know what the return on that was, or maybe it shouldn't be that. Maybe they should have another approach. So they need that. Really today, I'm sure it's instantaneous.
So it comes in from all across the country,
Right.
and then it goes back all across the country to all of the.
Absolutely.
My, that's and that's 60. That was 60%.
60%. The
Wow.
television rating business is what everybody knows. That's a situation where people's televisions are monitored. And what they do is Nielsen monitors what people really are watching. Because if you ask people, they'll say, oh, we were watching public television. There was an opera on. And it's really wrestling. But what happens is there's a true television monitor that has everything you do sent overnight again
Oh,
to
really?
Nielsen that says, well, that's great. There's nothing wrong with watching Wild World of Wrestling, but it wasn't. We want to be accurate on it. And the reason for that is the advertisers pay based on audience, and the audience size is what a commercial costs. So they want an accurate reading what people are watching, what they're not.
Very, very interesting. Well, so you worked with AC Nielsen for how long?
Nielsen for 9 years.
Okay.
And then I retired.
And you retired.
I retired from AC Nielsen. Had been with Dun & Bradstreet in total 32 or 3 years.
All right.
And been with Nielsen, and then I retired. We then had an opportunity to move to, I was on an outside board, a board named Primar Corporation.
Okay.
And they bought a company that was in a turnaround, needed a turnaround mode, and that's what I enjoy doing very much. So the CEO of that company asked me if I'd mind taking this over for 4 or 5 years and get it back in a condition that we could
Sell it.
sell it or do what's best
Yeah,
for the share owners on it. And we had a chance to do that, and it took us 4 years. And so I retired a second time, and I have to tell you, I truly enjoyed every minute of what I did in my career. Somehow I found I loved to go to work.
Well, I can tell that you did, and that's why you were very successful. Well, I know in visiting with you, you've been healthy all of your life. You
Yep.
probably had your tonsils out when you were a child, and you indicated you had one little problem. Was it a kidney stone?
I had a lot of kidney stones, a lot of them over my life, but they were never serious in the sense that I knew what they were. I knew I'd have some pain, and it would pass or be operatively removed, and I knew it was not life-threatening, and it was just painful.
Well,
But
you've
not
been,
serious.
I know in visiting with you and getting acquainted with you over the period of time here that you've been very conscientious about your health
I have been.
and exercised
Yep.
and done the things the right way, and yet you still found out that you had cancer. What happened?
Trauma. To be casual about it, I think, is insincere. When I have managed my own health, and I think I've done well with it, and had a great life, and when I heard I had cancer, I went through what most people probably do, disbelief. No, it must be a mistake. I feel fine, nothing wrong. I had cancer.
Must be a mistake.
Must be a mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly it's a mistake, and so enough of a mistake. I got another PSA. Oh my God. PSA, if ever I could give advice to any male, get your PSA regularly. It's simple. Little needle, they
simple
take
little
some
blood test, isn't
simple
it?
blood test. Get your PSA. People say, well, I had mine and it's fine. I had it, when'd you have it? A couple of years. No. Get it every single year. Get a PSA. Simple test, tells you everything, catch things early. I had gotten it every year, didn't have high numbers, but my number accelerated faster than the doctors.
So
like to
that's an
think.
indication,
That's
isn't it?
A key indication. So I had the biopsy. It was definitely cancer. So then I began to manage the process of healing. Once I made that transition,
Once you made the decision
that it was real,
that it was real,
then I began to research it. And I researched it, having been responsible for the biggest research company in the world, which is AC Nielsen. I knew the value of research. And I researched everything that I started with what they call the gold standard. And I'm not going to say any of them are not good.
Sure.
I'll just tell you what I selected for what reasons. I went to the best people in seeds, best people in prostatectomy, the best people in general radiation, and then I realized about something that no one told me about, certainly not my doctors. I found out about proton treatment. external proton. And what is this? Well, the research that I did, I was fortunate. I had a dear friend, not fortunate for him, but he also was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And he was researching, he's a really bright guy, and he was researching independent of the work I was doing, and we would compare almost daily.
So you're diagnosed about the same time?
About the same time,
Sure.
give or take a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And we went through the whole process of research, got on the Bob Marchini, got in touch with him. He said, Jack, talk to other patients. I thought, gee, nobody else has given me the opportunity to talk to patients. So I talked to 10 or more, and I talked at length. They were generous with their time. And I asked the questions you would ask. And I came to the conclusion, this is the way for me. So I contacted Loma Linda. They set up a consult for me. Would I come out, fly out here? I would have crawled out here. Once I made up the mind, now I wanted, it had to be that, because I had eliminated the others very clearly in my head. And when I came out here in the consult and met with Dr. Rossi and the case manager, Sharon Hoyle, Nurse Hoyle, they impressed me with the thorough way they handled the consult. And they set me up in a program, and I began to go through it, and I have to tell you, it's been an experience that, well, here I am back visiting almost 2 years later.
One of the few places people come back to visit. Loma Linda is, people talk about the magic of Loma Linda, but tell us about your experience while you were here.
It is magic. It's, once you get to know it, it's not magic, it's just wonderful. It's the combination of expert medical training and people who are dedicated. But it's also the overtone of the religious aspect of the fact that you cure the body and the mind and the soul, the whole person. They care from the receptionist to the person that, by the way, there's a parking attendant, to the person that parks the car. They have an attitude of, hi, after a few days, hi, how are you, Jack? Or hi, how are you, Mr. Holt? And I'm Jack. The receptionist, everybody, the treatment people. So we were here for 10 weeks, and every weekend we traveled. We went different places around Southern California. What a wonderful playground. And our treatments were mostly around the 5 o'clock time frame. So we had our evenings free. I had the day free. Treatment was very short. You go in, you receive a painless treatment, and within 25 minutes to maximum an hour, the whole experience of waiting and treatment, you're out. Just couldn't believe it. In fact, almost to the point that I said every week, once a week you visit with the physician, and I'd go in and see Dr. Rossi, and I'd say, are we sure this is working? You know, because I don't feel anything. And it was just terrific. But that magic that people talk about is the experience of everyone caring, and people caring enough to truly want to help in your process of dealing with cancer. And that's what it is.
Did you go to some of the programs? I mean,
Everyone.
Potlucks and Wednesday evenings and...
The support group on Wednesday nights are not only the best, they're imperative. They are just imperative. You're with people who have gone through the same things you have. You get information feedback from everyone through these patients who have had the same experience. You get their doctors plus your own doctors plus their experience. And many of them were physicians. Many of the patients are physicians. A good number of them were. I learned more in that support group, and it's 5 o'clock, and there's a sandwich and a lot of fun, and people are laughing. When I first went in, I thought, well, I'm in the wrong room. I'll have to go and ask where the other one is.
They were having such a good time.
Oh, my goodness, laughing and joking and teasing, and it was terrific.
And these are cancer patients.
Every one of them.
Yeah.
Same cancer I have, same treatment program I have, and all of a sudden somebody'd look at their watch, and they'd get up, and they'd go, and then they'd come back. Well, they went for a treatment, and then they came back to be with everybody. Yeah. The support group's just imperative. If you're in this program, that's got to be part of it, because it's wonderful. And then there's potluck dinners that people have that are in one of the facilities where they're staying. I'll call them the adult dorms, right. Which are nice and all over. And it's a potluck where everybody brings a dish, a covered dish or whatever, or chicken or salad, and it's just a lot of fun. And we went to every one of those. In fact, look forward to them. Many people say, Jack, what do you mean you look forward to a potluck dinner? And I said, there was usually a speaker. So one of the patients would get up and talk about something they did that was so different.
Music.
Music, art,
skits.
sports, programs, the careers, what people do, some of the things people do in careers that are fascinating. One of the guys was a police captain in L.A. in the gang part of it. Wow, did he have some stories. I got a chance to talk a little bit about the television rating business. Everybody wants to know about television. There were 5 or 6 that I just won't go into, but they were fascinating. Support group is key. You're with people who understand, people who care. You can relate to them, and they relate to you. Wow, is that something?
Were you working out?
Oh, that was something that we have continued that program, by the way.
Good.
Part of this program is a free pass to the Drayson Center, which can't be described in words. You really need a picture. The Drayson Center is the most elaborate, well-equipped, polite, trained people there to help you, a gym, right on campus.
It's our wellness center.
Wellness center. You drive over, you spend as much time as you want, as much of the day as you want, and you meet these same patients. And everybody's working out, and someone says, I never lifted weights. You know what I lifted? I'm thinking, geez, I'm not going to tell what I never did, but I'll tell you what I did do. And I learned, I got a regimen of walking that I had before I came, and I just intensified it. I got into weights, and it's just a great program. In fact, when we came back this time, there was a day pass waiting for Carol and I, thank you, at our hotel, and we went there this morning. So it's great. It's the whole treatment. It's the wellness center. It's the support of the people. And most of all, it's that the people care enough to want you to be cured and want you to leave not only cured, but feel good.
So you were here, how long? You were here over
45 treatments.
You're 45 treatments, and are we talking about a year ago, year and a half ago?
We graduated, I say we because Carol was with me through the whole thing.
It's really a couple's disease, isn't it?
Not a question. Yeah. Well said. It's a couple's disease. And Carol not only went through the trauma with me, but she was here for the cure. And every single one of my treatments, she's in the waiting room. She was doing needlepoint and talking to everybody. We made all kinds of friends that we still have, many of them, which was sort of nice. But there's no question about it. It is a couple's disease. And the more you understand about it, and the more you can openly talk about the things that don't exist in the questions that people ask. If what side effects have you had? Well, if I say I haven't had any, people here understood that.
Yeah.
People outside of here say, yeah, right, I know, everybody says that. But it is true.
So you've been doing very well, And I know now you're on it, you came and met with the Proton Advisory Group.
I did.
And it's, again, a way of giving back.
Yep.
And been able to help other people identify what's going on here at Loma Linda, sharing. Carol's experience during this whole time, how did she react and respond?
Well, she reacted just so grateful for how well I was doing compared to how I was when I first got diagnosed. And then she got to meet the people and realized all of them had this couple's disease and saw the progress of confidence you built up in yourself that, hey, this is working, this is terrific. So without question, her reaction was so positive. In fact, when I came back, as you said, I want to give back. And I know because when I talk to people, one of the things I did, since people were so nice to let me talk to them in their private lives, who had been graduates here and who had been treated, the minute I left, before I left, I said, sign me up. I'd be glad to talk to anybody who calls and wants to hear about this program.
And people have been calling.
Oh, my goodness. And I'm grateful that they do. And there's another, you asked the question, how does Carol react to all this? When I get one of those calls, Carol knows for sure, we'll be there in a little bit. I can hear her on the other phone saying, we'll be about a half hour late for the dinner, or not dinner, sure. We don't disrupt people, but she knows that I want to complete a certain part of that phone call now and pick it up tomorrow, because I was on the other end. And
And now-
she's just so supportive.
So now you're helping other people identify what's
love it.
going on here at Loma Linda. You've experienced really the culture here at Loma Linda.
That's what it is.
Loma Linda has an undergirding philosophy of to make man whole mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And a lot of activities that all go to contribute to that healing process. Well, Jack, we're so glad that you're able to join us here on Journey of Hope. This program's going around the world, and people that are watching are also, many of them have been confronted with some kind of a traumatic illness or an injury or cancer, and I know that your testimony is going to be an encouragement to them. Again, we're thrilled that our audience is watching from around the world. Jack is another person that's been impacted by the healing ministry of Loma Linda.
Wow.
And came here and experienced this the wonderful care that's provided by the people that are working here. Loma Linda is one of 125 teaching hospitals across the country, but there's something special going on here. We have a number of different centers of excellence, and the Proton Center is merely one of those. For our listening audience, again, I want to thank you for joining us. I'm Lynn Martell with Loma Linda Broadcasting Network, LLBN, and working with the Loma Linda Medical Center. We want to thank you for taking part in our program and for your partnership with us, for your prayers. And I know there are people out there that are watching the program now that have been confronted with some kind of an illness or traumatic injury. Something has gone wrong. I want you to know that God loves you, and God does have a plan for you. There's a text in the Bible, in the New Testament, where Paul says, all things work together for the good of those that love the Lord. Doesn't mean that everything that happens is the best, but it does mean that when He's in control of your life, that He will take it. And what appears to be a stumbling block, if we keep our eyes on Him, will become a stepping stone. So God bless you, Jack, and thank you for joining us here.
Thank you
on
for so
LBN.
much.
Thank you.